Hey, and welcome back to another second episode of Extra Feature Interviews. Tonight, I have a fabulous director who sent me three movies, but I only watched part three because I really don't understand emails. He is here, Frank Palangi's third film in the trilogy, Souls of the Damned, but we'll have him back to do one and two, I promise him. So maybe I'll get them right for next time. Welcome to the show.
Hello, what's going on?
So, I want to start at the beginning. You are like I would say a truly independent filmmaker. Because I
Yeah,
mean, you built a film with like no money. I will
yeah.
solely say, if you had $10 on this film, I would have been impressed. Because this looks like it was all shot with people you know and abandoned buildings and stuff like that. So why don't we start there? Tell me, how's your process work with a guy with like, I would say a very, very limited budget?
You got it, man, to the T. I call them no budget films because that
Eh,
that's what they are. I'm not given a budget to make them, but luckily I do have a distribution company I work with, so if I make a movie, it's going to be distributed and it's going to be out there. But it's up to me to if I wanted more funding, obviously try to get funding. I have to get the actors, I got to do everything. So luckily, because I'm a musician too, that through the years of releasing all the rock music and stuff, I can do some of the soundtracks. I can do the audio overdubs. I can mix the audio of the actual movie, and I know how all that stuff works. And I do have a lot of money invested in my camera and lens and lighting, and it's all things that you just kind of have to do if you're looking to kind of progress in the things because we started out doing fan films in the early YouTube days. So it was me and maybe 10, 15 other people doing fan films on YouTube, which now it's like everybody's doing them. And so we just started off with the old DVD camcorders and stuff like that and started putting those up. And so eventually it led to all these original films. But yeah, you're right though. This is the third film in the quote unquote trilogy of films.
that was my bad. I just followed the first link. Go, okay, that's what
That's
I'm
okay.
watching.
I was like, I'll send
So,
him the newest one. So
so let's go back to the beginning. So, are you saying as an independent filmmaker, you should spend money on your camera first? That should be your most important thing if you have no budget.
yeah, well, I mean, you do need a camera to film a movie, at least a decent one. That and editing software you might have to spend. I don't really know. I mean, there's some good free editing programs, I guess, but if you really want to get into it, I use DaVinci Resolve and it has everything on there for like $300. So there is investment. You're investing in yourself or in your business or anything like that. And yeah, I mean you don't need to spend a lot. I mean I spent a little bit on the costumes and the makeup, but that's all out of my pocket. You know what I mean?
So, do you feel as an independent filmmaker, you should keep that stuff to reuse it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the skin that falls off the rock when he hits me in the head, that piece is like 20 years old. We've used that in a ton of stuff. So yeah, anything you can't clothes. I wear this one type of jacket I've worn in like I don't know movies since 20 years ago. I think the black T-shirt I wore in at least I don't know six films between the fan films and this and stuff. And yeah, you just reuse what you can.
So, when you were going out to film locations, like I don't know if it's a school. I think it's a school at the beginning, or it could be a
Oh,
building. I
the
couldn't
the
really figure
abandoned
out.
mental institution.
No, that's later. When you find
Oh,
your
okay.
opening shot, you have a school with people in a classroom kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of looks like a school. It's supposed to be like an underground facility, sort of, that all these, I don't know if I give it away or not, but all these
No,
witches are,
no,
are doing their
no, I
stuff.
know. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the? And I mean, the house is obviously a friend's house, I presumed at some point.
Yeah, we've used mostly people I know. Some of them are just abandoned houses too, actually.
Oh, interesting.
So they just shoot them. I had one down the street. The one towards the end of the movie is the abandoned house down the street, and it looks like it's in the middle of some country farm or in the middle of a field somewhere. And that's literally there's a street right here, and it was just all overgrown. And if you just shoot it right and you don't get anything else, it looks like you're in the middle of nowhere.
And the parks near you too?
The parks, yeah, yeah, trails and the parts where they where you park, for them or whatever. So we did some parking lots and that kind of stuff of
That's what
of
I
like
figured.
trail areas and stuff. Yeah.
So the abandoned building, when you see an abandoned building, you're like, did you spray paint that thing or was that sprayed and painted at a time?
That's all genuine. We didn't do
Oh.
anything.
So
Yep.
when you're driving down the street, you go, I should write that down so I know where mentally note, obviously. When you get home, you scribble it. So you're like, I will use that. And do you write that into your scripts?
Yeah, my dad was actually the one. He goes, you know what? We just drove by this place. I don't think anybody knows it's here. I've never seen it my whole life. They just took like a detour, and they go on the top of the hill is this place, and he goes, you got to write that into your movie. So there's only so much we could do. So we basically just shot obviously around it. Between there were so many flies and mosquitoes and bees and you go into place you're not sure if you're going to fall right through the floor either, so we exactly just kind of stayed what you see in the movie, the front, the side. I got a little bit of the guardhouse. I really wasn't in there. I was just kind of filming through it, and then we did the back looks just like something from like Walking Dead. I'm just like, it was so cool, but there was glass everywhere. So we really had to be careful, but it was fun. I got stung
So,
like 80 times.
oh my God. How do you, okay. You're filming a scene and getting stung. Do you just hold the scene because you're a director and you're
Yeah,
good?
and
Or,
acting. Yeah, and acting it. Yeah. Yeah, the whole time well, most of that was one-handed because I could not stand it. I was going like literally I was going like
okay.
this the whole time. And it was so bad. But we got it. So that was all
Okay.
one-handed.
That's very impressive.
But
So as you were saying, is all the music you then? The whole soundtrack is you, top to bottom?
mostly, I do use some royalty-free stuff, but the themes from the other movies and stuff I've created is are in there too. I don't know if you'd notice, what ones are me and what ones are some of the stock, but coming from a horror movie background and like doing horror movie soundtracks and stuff when I was younger, I know well how to just mesh everything. So even if I just have to edit stuff, I know how to like, oh, I'm gonna take this royalty free song, but I'm gonna take the end that nobody knows. I'm gonna cut that in here and then I'm gonna reverse it, and do this, and so it sounds like something totally different.
Now, do you find when you're filming or even writing, you know what music you're going to do ahead of time, or is that all at the end? So you've got your footage, you've edited it down, you're like, you know what? I know what I can do here. Or is that going through your head at the same time?
Originally, like I guess when I was younger, when I was filming, I could hear the music. I knew what I wanted. Um, Now when I film movies, I actually don't care. I don't listen to the music. Editing, I kind of like this is the vibe I want. I want a slow thing here, up tempo here, or a John Carpenter's thing here. I kind of use just some examples. And sometimes it's literally just like, all right, let me just make this. And then I'll plop it in. And I'm just like, oh wow, that fits nice, or it fits good, but it gives it like a totally different tone. Or it's horrible.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to ask this anyway. It's just because you create your own music. The film is done. You're just about to, you're like, nope, I'm gonna change something. Has that ever happened?
Oh, oh my God. What I went through for all three movies for the exporting processes. I mean, I had my computer on for it was like 48 hours to export this fourth movie that's coming here soon. And it's literally just to change like one thing in the title.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
I spelled something wrong, which I'm known to do. Everyone's like,
Oh, me
there's
too.
a
Me
there's a
too.
spelling thing, and I go, I know it's in every one of my movies. It's a thing for me. It's a thing.
I do want to discuss your use of blood splatter. What is that made of? Because it looks like maybe apples or something. Because it's continually used,
Mm.
people. I'm not ruining anything. I
That
just want
was
people to know. I couldn't figure out mangoes, pineapple. I
it was crushed tomatoes with V8
okay.
juice and a little bit of fake blood.
Okay, because I knew it
Uh,
had to be a fruit. I'm like, that is a
Yeah.
fruit for sure. But I'm like, and do you have like a
Oh,
bag of
and
that
dirt.
with you? And dirt.
Yeah, a little dirt. Yep. Yeah,
Now,
I
how
made it
does
like a soup. I just went whoosh.
so?
I took a thermos and made it in a thermos, and because it's sealed so it won't smell, right? And we just took that and we used it, and I go, okay, I got enough for 3 tries, you know. So we just took it and chucked it 3 times. I think I can't remember. I did something weird in the movie where I reversed a clip or something. I can't remember what I did, but it's actually almost all 3 takes in that scene because there's a couple of splatters.
I'm
They're all
getting
different from different takes. Yeah.
you're correct.
Yeah.
At one point you go to a black and white, then color, black and white, color. What was the point? I'm not saying it wasn't
Nightmare
good. I'm just saying what were you
nightmares.
going for? And so that was the whole nightmare thing because we really don't go into that till later. This is early
Yeah.
on. We haven't
Yeah.
really heard him talk to somebody and explain that to us.
Yeah. Well, the black and white thing too, I was on camera. I was on like a security camera.
Yes.
So it made sense to me to change the color. And then when I was having the nightmares and stuff like that, and just there's like two alternate realities in the movie of you have the physical world and you have this killer going around,
Yes.
and then you have the mental world of this guy stuck in his head. So it's kind of like a fairy tale land of. So I was just like, that could be anything. You know what I mean? There's no rules there.
So when you're filming yourself, do you know exactly what you want, or sometimes you have to look at it and go, "Nope, I want to change that." Or how do you go mentally
I can't
prepare?
explain it. Even a scene, if I were to film you in something, I cannot explain it. I just see it in my head, and then somehow I know. All right, I think a couple lights should be here and here, and I set it up right. Then you tweak it from there, or you find something better. Sometimes too. Sometimes you don't have time, because we're dealing
Yeah,
with no budget movies, and we're like, okay, I only got the actor for another half an hour. I don't have time to mess with the lights, so we just got to shoot this. But
interesting.
it's in my head, like if it's a close up, if it's this, and what type of lens. Um, I don't always use the right lenses that you're supposed to for um, distances and stuff because I want to search for something that sometimes I find stuff that's cool that's just totally different. So that's probably the reason why.
Interesting.
So it's not like,
So,
oh, that guy's doing it all wrong. Well, it's make it how you want. It makes it fun.
so I got a question. Do you, I mean, obviously playing your actor, okay, I need you here at this time.
Yeah.
And you say you only have half an hour left. You guys shoot with no lights. Does that upset you at any time? Or you're just so skilled at doing low budget, you can just, okay, I'm
Sometimes.
gonna have to work with this.
Yeah, sometimes you need an extra time. If it's something easy, quote unquote easy, yeah, that would be fine. I don't get upset. I usually explain to people like, listen, this scene, I know it's kind of simple, but it's going to take 3 hours. I'll set up before, might be some stuff, and I try to explain it. Or I say, can you be free for 5 hours? But sometimes I get where somebody comes over and they're like, oh, I was free all day. Okay, now I only got 3 hours. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Okay. You just do it. You work with it.
Interesting. Okay, I find a lot of your scenes are dark at times with very low level light, and it's usually outside.
Yeah.
And how do you get around that? Like, I mean, obviously you have to get your storyline going, you have to show things happening, but how
Yeah.
do you work with that? Because I know you're missing your lighting. I'm not blaming you. I understand what you're trying to achieve. How do
Yeah.
you work with that?
Um, a lot of it I shoot shots brighter and I darken it in post for that kind of stuff. Like the day shots that kind of look, they're not night, but they are dark. They're shot pretty bright.
Oh,
And I lower it in post.
okay, that's what you
Because if you do
do.
it the other way, for some reason, if I was like, well, it needs to be brighter, and then all of a sudden you have more grain going in your footage, or it looks like garbage, complete garbage, and you're stuck. You can't do anything. So night shots are a little different because they're dark to begin with. So you kind of live with the shot is going to be dark. Maybe I won't see all the detail in it, but because we're in a rush, we have one light on this dude, and this sort of thing. You're right though. The day scenes, we don't use any lights. There's one little light on the camera just to give if you're close, to give you some color. Um, but part of it is you would need a lot of lights to light it the way you want to during
Yeah.
the day because it was so bright. I mean, it was wicked, wicked bright. So it's more or less to accent, if I had the budget, it would be accent certain things like, oh,
Okay.
that guy's going to go over and grab that hammer. Let's put a light like underneath a trash can and
Right.
color it or something, but
Yeah. There was a scene when you were in an apartment with a lot of garbage,
apartment with a lot of garbage.
and it could be the house.
Oh, towards the end.
Yes.
Yeah, with it was just yeah, weird. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
weird.
That's
So
what I'm asking about. Where did
I
all the
made it into a
garbage come
maze.
from? Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I'm
Yes.
getting at. What? Where
It
did all
was
this garbage come from? That's what I wanted to know. I was like, what is going on here?
it wasn't trash bags actually. It was U-Haul packing blankets.
Oh, is that
And
what it was?
yeah, and there was stuff on the floor and there was, some lighting and I think a few body parts and skeleton stuff and candles around.
Cool.
But I was like, so it's an old abandoned house, the shop before it. And I was like, well, I got to transform in my garage something that looks like crap. But I want it because my garage isn't that big. I go, the scene can't be I walk in and hello, I'm here. So I'm like, well, what if he like just went through these kind of mazes of these, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what they are in the movie. That I use packing blankets, but
That's
you
fine.
can
That's
you can
just my
call
question.
them whatever you want. He has to go through. But what it is you could say too, did it really happen? Because she's messing with his head,
Well, absolutely. And
so it's like,
you know what? Let's just go to her next because I was kind of leaving her out, but I'll get into it. She has a very distinct look, I think.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think you definitely played, and I hate to ask this question. The fake eyebrows were like weirding me out the whole film. Like I'm
Oh
like, what
boy.
is up with those fake eyebrows?
That's actually the actress. That's
Okay.
what, yeah, that's not me. That's the actress.
I
Yep.
was like, is he going for something here? I was just like, that's kind of cool. I
Yep.
kind of liked it. I mean, it was low budget enough that had me interested. I'm like, I'd love to have her on going. So why these choices?
Yeah.
Not saying they didn't work. I was just more interested in why that choice.
Yeah, no, she picked out her whole wardrobe and everything, the
Okay.
hat and all that stuff.
So she
So,
came prepared. She was ready. She knew her role.
yeah, and she kind of played that character in the first movie in
Oh, see,
Another
this is a
Nightmare.
problem. I'm number three, so I'm not missing.
Yeah. Well, the good
Okay.
thing is each movie is separate, but if you
Okay.
watch all three, it's my character having these nightmares through all three movies. The
Okay.
other movies too are anthologies, so they're actually like it could be four stories in one movie or seven, that sort of thing.
I'll look forward to it. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm
Yeah, we'll get
sorry.
there.
I didn't know. People don't tell me I don't know these things. Okay, let's go with the pumpkin mask on the killer.
It's
Where did
old.
this mask come from? Like
It's
I've
old,
never
man.
seen this. I get it's old. Did you find it at the Goodwill? Did you make it?
Um, I want to say it was at one of those discount stores in the 90s.
Okay.
And I've just kept it ever since. And I actually have two of them. The second one could be seen in the second movie. So this one is latex and it's got more of the um, features and it's painted. The other one is like cloth. Same mask. Same, it's got the hood and everything and the same face, but it's like a cloth version. So after using that in the second one, which I've had for 30 years, I was like, well, to kind of continue that, I go, what if I use the other mask? And that one's a little bit more scarier and it's got that big grin and stuff. So yeah, oh yeah, I've sold a lot of my back catalog of stuff, but I've kept some masks from 30 years ago. But we had a house fire a couple years ago and I lost a lot of stuff too. So
Ouch.
I kind of have what I have. But
Okay.
weird thing, I will say this, weird thing in that back room where it set on fire, there was everything was melted down and there was 5 tubs left. Like in random spots and everything else it looked like T2, like the melted stuff. And they were all my movie prop boxes mostly. And I could not believe it. It was like, oh, here's a tub. Oh, and then there's a tub. And then Freddy Krueger, you like Freddy Krueger? I have a Robert Englund's face, but it's enlarged as Freddy Krueger. Somebody made it, and it's a silicone mask. And it stunk. And I just kept it back there to air out. And it survived the fire and the soot and the smoke, all of that. So I have an authentically burned, house
Yeah,
fired Freddy, and I will do a fan film with it because I cleaned it 16 times.
I was thinking do it.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
man,
just
the props and stuff, if it wasn't for that and maybe some other things, I've kept them for 30, 35 years.
I just before I want to tell listeners to go, I'm gonna go a little bit more spoilery for the next three things. So if you guys don't want to hear what happens, I'm going into the kills. I want you guys to know that's where I'm headed. So if you want to stay, I'm going to do a little bit thing, but Frank will know what I'm talking about.
That's
But I'm going to go
cool.
a little bit more in depth. Okay. The first kill I found was very close up, like very close shot shooting. And you do show me a little bit of hand-to-hand combat, a little bit of movement.
Yeah.
Now, why shooting that kill that way? And you'll understand my question when I get to the second one. What was your
We had to make it PG-13
okay?
too. The studio that distributes it, he's like, if we can make this basically PG-13, because more people will. The notion is
Engage.
advertisers will put more money and stuff into it, but I do like the more aggressive, more bloodier stuff.
Okay, that may answer my second. In the second kill, we get like just one weapon shot, and then that's it. No body on the ground this time, nothing. Which I thought I thought we were going to, at least as a viewer, I thought we were escalating. But
Yeah,
you
is that the one
don't,
where
you
she gets her head cut
de-escalate.
off?
That's exactly where I was going.
Okay, that was pure Friday 13th. I wanted to go back and say because if you watch the first, I don't know,
Oh
five
no,
Friday.
no, that's the
No,
third
not that one.
kill. The
Oh,
third
okay.
kill. We're gonna
Sorry.
get there next. That's the second one. The second one kill is just like a shot to the head and gone. And I
Yep.
was like, oh, was he in a hurry here? Was it what am I missing? Why is this done so quickly?
Yep. Move along the story a little bit, but yeah, it's just old school in the fact that we got to keep it PG-13 and
Okay. The third kill is when you go graphic, I would say. That's
yeah,
when you take the head off and you literally are holding the head in the hand.
yes. Oh, okay. So that yeah, no, that's the girl inside. I sawed her head off. Yep. And the
Yes.
other one, I chopped her head off with a machete.
Yes.
That's the one you're
Yes.
talking about. Yeah, that one that was the Friday 13th where how can I make it PG-13 and have the blood splatter and have the eyes open? We did the reverse shot like they did in those movies too. That was a reverse shot of the, you know. So, but yes, I wanted I go, let's screw it. I go, I want to do some sort of graphic kill that's hopefully PG-13 and because you do see her body on the floor with some
Yes.
blood, yeah, and me
That
holding
one
the
I
head.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm moving on to fun questions. I didn't want to get too graphic into those scenes, but I was going to go over them quickly just to
That's
make you
okay.
happy.
You guys will have to watch them then.
Yeah, you guys got to watch them. That's why I was trying to be good. So the runtime is a quick, what, 112 on this? I think a 112.
A
It's
minute
quick.
or it's a minute. It's
An hour.
50. No, it's less than an hour. It's
Oh, less than
58
56 minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Fine. There we go. So I'm going to move on to fun questions, guys. Please watch the film. I've given you the highlights. I'm not trying to go too in depth. I kind of left a
There,
lot out, and I think
there's a
Frank would say
reason
I
why
did.
for shorter films too. is because I go, what's the shortest we could do and it counts as a feature? And he's like, 56 minutes. I go, that's awesome.
Oh
Because
wow.
you figure that's so much more work to get in a minute and 15, a minute and
Oh yeah.
20. But what he says, what happening on streaming networks is people are wanting shorter movies or they're just wanting to watch series. So he goes, so it's on purpose.
So your plan is to make all your films under an hour, so it's like a series. So I'll just go to the next one. Because if you're getting
Yeah,
upwards of an hour 45, I gotta invest time.
an hour to hour 5 minutes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Fun questions. Your favorite film?
Halloween and T2.
You're a T2 kid, really?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Your
Oh
favorite
yes.
2024 film?
I don't have a lot of new favorites to be.
Fair enough. I
I have
sometimes it
seen
has to.
some that are pretty good and okay. I mean, I don't know. I would say I just revisited and watched the Critters movies 1 through 4.
I've seen them.
Yeah, and I love the first one and the third one. Oh, I revisited the Prowler too because I did an interview with the director of that movie. He did Nightmare on or he did Friday the 13th Part 4, and that was his first film, The Prowler, and that was really good.
That has my favorite horror scene of all times in The Prowler. I want people to know when they call the night manager and ask for the
Yeah,
guy, and he goes, "Nope, nope, not here," and sits back down. It's got to be one of my favorite horror scenes of all times.
that was a good one.
If anybody ever remakes that film, I want to be that guy. I will
Okay,
personally show up to be that guy
all
because
right.
that is my favorite of any. I don't mean horror
They are
films I've
trying to
watched.
remake it. They're trying to get the rights to remake it
I would
now,
love
but
to because I want to be the night manager, the guy that literally answers the phone, opens that door, and sits right down. I,
yep,
most people want a real. No, that's all I want to do. I
yep,
literally just want to answer the phone, do the door, and sit down and go home. That's
yep.
it. That's what my
He
I'm
didn't
here to
die
be.
either. Yeah, he didn't die.
I think that's one of the greatest horror scenes ever. I
It's
laughed
it,
so
it
hard.
was memorable. I thought of that too, and I was like, "Wow!" I go, "You could put that." I don't think I've ever seen a scene like that in a movie. I go, "You could put
I've
that in
never.
another movie."
So yeah, if anybody's remaking them, I'm here for you. I'd
All
say this is
right,
proud.
I'll
Okay,
let you know.
one film you always recommend to people because they've never seen it.
Oh, Tourist Trap from the
I have.
80s.
I
Really
have seen.
good.
It is. I
And
have
I
seen
think
it.
they're remaking it this year, so we'll
Of
see.
course they are,
Yeah.
because I haven't need another remake.
That was on my list. I go, someday maybe I'll remake Tourist Trap and Funhouse. The Funhouse is still left.
I've seen Funhouse. Yeah, I'm good with. I've seen Funhouse too.
Yeah,
That's
it's a good
fine.
one.
Okay, before we let you go, tell everybody where they can find your trilogy since I've only seen one.
Well, you can go to palangifilms.com. So you can go to the website there. I'm on all the social medias if you find me there, but they're all on Tubi, streaming on Tubi. They're even free on YouTube. Trauma TV has the second movie on
Oh, good.
Trauma, Killer
That's excellent.
Tales. And they're on some other like weird streaming apps if you guys have. There's some like weird ones out there, but they're all scary movie based.
Excellent. Thank you and have a great
So
night.
you too. Thanks, guys.